Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Psychic Tarot Show with Ashala, brought to you here on Beyond Mystic YouTube and Rumble channel every Saturday. And this week's forecast, we're actually looking at the week ahead, which is from today, Saturday, August 3rd, to Saturday, August 10th. So during this next week, we are going to have the astrological configuration that happens every year at this time, which is the Lionsgate portal. So I'll speak a little bit more about that. But first of all, I'd like to take a moment to say hi to everybody. Hello, Frederick. Please jump on and let us know how you're feeling this week. I'm really curious to just tune into the energies of our viewers and feel what's going on in people's minds and hearts right now. Before I forget, let's look at the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe here. And also, if you're interested in booking a session with me, here's where you can do this. It's on the Beyond Mystic Consultations page. You'll find a link below where you can access this page and book your session. And I'm just noticing that I haven't put up the banner with the coupon code yet. So let me just take a moment to put that banner up and tune in with all of our energies. Okay, I can't find it, so we'll go back to comments and just know that Beyond Mystic, all in capital letters, you can get a 10% discount at that consults page. Awesome. So let's jump into today's overview forecast and see what this upcoming week looks like. Hi, Lori, Corinne, Marie. Lovely to see you here. Just going to let you observe as I'm shuffling the cards. I'm always so excited to see what comes through with these forecasts. And as I've said many times before, you know, if I were just to do this for myself, obviously I would get more of a personal forecast. But because I'm looking on behalf of all the viewers, I'm getting a forecast that is relevant to many, if not all of us. So we're going to start off here in the house of the personality, the self, and we have the healer, the temperance angel, a foot in between the worlds. So there's something also about the veils being very thin at this time, the sense of between the worlds, and also to me, what I'm getting is a real strong connection to our subconscious allies. So this can be whatever you determine as your benefactors in the spirit world. It can be ancestors, it can be angelic realms, spirit guides, the higher self. That feels very much beside us this week. And we're being, I want to say, protected, guided, and held in that place. Hi, April. Right, I'm seeing it's not playing on Rumble. Not sure why that's happening. I don't really have anything to do with having it streaming on Rumble. That's kind of done in the back end, so not sure why that isn't happening. Let's go to the next position here, which is the position of security. This has to do with us feeling like we are grounded and really embodied. We're here in 3D and we're feeling like good in our bodies, good in our being. Interesting that this card relates to having some sort of spiritual, I want to say, practice that helps you feel good and feel safe. So far we are looking at having spirit allies, guides, really connecting with your spiritual mentors. And this can be in the realm of prayer, meditation. It can be reviewing different spiritual, I want to say, stories, different spiritual teachings. So this could be a good week if you're looking for a sense of feeling safe and grounded and secure, to go back to things that are almost like the source material of your spiritual values and belief systems. So that's kind of interesting. Hi, Mary Grace. Hi, Sonia, Christina, Dee, Linda. Lovely to see you. Let's look at the next card. So this is in the House of Communication. Oh, well, so far, are you noticing this, everybody? 3 major arcana in a row. So we're looking at a week which has a tremendous amount of spiritual significance on the whole for all of us collectively as humanity. I'm really noticing with this Hierophant. So we've got in the House of Taurus the Hierophant. I'm really noticing the keys at the Hierophant's feet. I don't know if you can see those. See the keys there? I'm also noticing all the different tools on the table of the Magician. So again, this feels to me like it is the practices, I want to say the scriptures or the stories, the teachings. There's something about going back to recover specific practices, teachings, scriptures, and really be not only guided this week with those things, protected, comforted, redirected, I'm hearing. So this brings me to speaking just briefly about the Lionsgate portal. Happens every year, August 8th. So it's the 8th of the 8th. And when we look at the energy of the frequency of 8, it has to do with our momentum, our ability to create something that generates its own energy field. So you have, for example, with the atom and the nucleus, you have these electrons that run in patterns of 8. A lot of things in the natural world, once they get into systems of momentum, generate cycles of 8. So what the 8 portal really is about is it's about setting the tone for the momentum of the upcoming phase of your life. I mean, we could be looking at an entire year. So setting the tone for the year. It is called the Lion's Gate because it's in the month of Leo, which is the sign of the lion. So what we know about Leo is it's very connected to the heart and to courage. So there's something around setting the tone in your heart with your courage and intention around how you're going to keep that momentum going in the upcoming weeks, months, and possibly even year or more. So it is about setting an energetic tone. And so far, we have 3 major arcana cards in a row. The major cards are 22 out of 78 in the tarot, and they are the strong archetypal spiritual guides, and they carry a lot of influence. So when we see many of them in this little spread, it means it's a time of great spiritual potency. I think we already kind of guessed that, right? Okay, next card in the House of Home. This is home, family, sanctuary. We have King of Pentacles. Now, King of Pentacles is very connected to wealth, resources, anything to do with land, growing food, agriculture, business, especially business related to 3D stuff. So it's the first minor arcana card we're seeing. It's in the house of home. And so it feels like there is something about working on having a home, your home sanctuary, really reflecting your spiritual truths, spiritual values. People could be really feeling like it's time to create a new kind of home. And there could be a sense of wanting to bring a lot of your spiritual values into the practical or the material realm. There's also something about leadership in the home. And, this card has to do with the masculine, right? He's a king, so it's a male energy. He's a very, very grounded king. So there's something I feel as well about, men and their experience of home this week. So there could be something in your personal life where a man in the home it's kind of like I'm sort of like scoping around going, what is this about? There's something to do with men being kind of grounded and really materializing the home for their families. So, I mean, women obviously are on a search for what is that ideal home like? What is the ideal sanctuary? It's the masculine part of us this week that is wanting to take some kind of action in creating a home base that is kind of, I want to say, illustrates our values. So what are some examples of something like this? This is where people are in a place that is a compromise for them. Their home is just a house. It's not, they're not with their family, or they're not living in accordance with their values. They're stuck somewhere where their home doesn't really resonate with all of who they are. It could be that we're setting this tone for the year around what does it look like to build the home sanctuary that really reflects who you are. So it could be, what we're saying is that this year is a year where we're focusing on building a nest or putting a lot in that nest egg for the ideal home. Very interesting. Yeah, Glynis says protection, right? Yeah. The home that feels like your version of protection. And it's interesting, because a lot of us, we're going through a lot of concern about security and the future, and where are we going to live, and what does home look like, and what feels safe. And for everybody, that's a slightly different equation. Not everybody wants the same kind of safety. And I don't think there's a one size fits all. What feels important is that we're actually tuning into what is a safe home. What does that look like for us? What does that feel like? And this King of Pentacles in that home base is saying, let's take some steps towards that this year, and let's make that a priority. Kind of interesting. Okay, here we go. Incoming, the House of Leo. Wow. Another major arcana, the Tower in the House of Leo. So this week, we're going to see something disruptive coming at us. And I don't get it's a huge, complete crash, everything collapse. But I get that it's a big enough tremor that we say, I'm really want to think about what home looks like. It's interesting, living here in Canada and knowing several of my friends that are right now under evacuation from fires in their communities. And, you know, thank goodness, knock on wood, nobody has lost their homes yet, but there are people in nearby communities that have lost their homes and properties, and it can be gone in an instant. And it really makes me think, I really want to live in accordance with what is in the area that I'm in. So if I'm in an area where fire hazard is a real danger, I think I want to have a tiny home on wheels or something where it's like, if you need to leave, you can literally, within a couple hours, pick up and move a lot of your belongings with you somewhere else. Same with, flooding danger and stuff like that in different places. It's like we're thinking about what does safety look like in the region where we live. Again, like I said, it's very different depending on where you are. So we're anticipating both geopolitical, social, economic, and environmental impacts. And we're thinking about what, like I said, there's no one size fits all, but we're thinking about what do we want home to look like? And something that may happen this week could have us all thinking, gosh, maybe what I thought I wanted wouldn't be ideal for me at this time. I think some of what's happening for us here is that we are being sort of guided to, I don't want to say live nomadically, but to think about home differently and to not be as, I just want to say to not be as anxiously attached to our things and where we are, to be more connected to our communities, like say spiritual communities. I mean, I just think about, let's just even take old pioneer stories or something from, America. And if people like a lot of those pioneer towns, like they went up in flames, right? They didn't have really good fire protection. And and there were a lot of fires because they all had wood stoves and lit by candlelight. And, they had this way of, well, you've got a community and you've got all these willing hands, and we're going to, what's important is that we all have skills. We have spiritual traditions that bond us together. We have personal ties, family ties, and whatever comes, we will rebuild. And so there's just this energy of what may be partially coming down the pipe this week, may give us a sense of what that feels like to focus more on skills, resources, community than on material things and our houses that may be around, 15, 20, 30, 50 years from now and may not. Okay, I know that's a little ominous sounding, but again, we are in a place this week. This isn't like business as usual week. This is kind of big spiritual steps week. We can go back to more business as usual, but this is a big week. Okay, in the house of daily life habits and health, 7 of Swords. A lot of working with what is in your control and not being anxiously fixated on things that are outside your control. So it's a little bit like, in a way, getting down to some more basic values this week, getting a little more pragmatically focused. Let's look at the house of Libra, karmic relationship. Look at that. There's the masculine there as well. So we've got this strong energy, the father figure, the patriarch here, and we've also got this strong masculine energy in the house of Cancer, the house of home, and this is in the house of partnership. So I don't know what's happening with men this week, but there is some kind of a transformation, a metamorphosis going on with men right now. The masculine, some of the rigid, I want to say, power dominant aspects of the masculine are falling away, and a greater inner strength is emerging. So, when that happens, sometimes we can see it playing out like this tower energy. When people feel like they don't have control over their environment, they often lash out at each other. So there could be a little bit of that. But I really also get that there's a lot of inner work happening here and a lot of self-mastery. Okay. Next position. Whoa. Okay. This is the house of Scorpio. We have 10 of Swords. We've seen this card before. Scorpio is endings and new beginnings, death and rebirth. Does this look like a new beginning or an ending? Right? Looks a bit like an ending to me. This person is laying on the beach. They're literally run through with all these swords and they've surrendered. So it's the surrender beyond the mental process, surrender beyond thought, beyond thinking. This is beyond thought, right? We talked about these spiritual cards here at the very beginning. This week is taking us beyond what we can rationally strategize, and we have to surrender on some level. But you notice in this card, do you see that yellow hopeful sunrise on the horizon? It is, as we surrender, there's already the new dawn. So breakdown of old systems, power dominant models continuing to fall, the emergence of a healthier masculine. Somebody just said, Linda said, maybe they're stepping into the real male. Yeah, let's just consider that for a minute. And this is not just men. This is the masculine part of all of us, right? So even us as women, we have the masculine part of us that's been trained to be very logical, very pragmatic, very driven, very one-track mindish, and like black and white thinking, which is really good for solving problems, but it's not a good philosophy to live life by. So as women, we have a lot of strengths, or many of us do. If we have a developed feminine side, we have a lot of strengths that balance that out. Men have to work more to balance the way they've been conditioned and trained to be the unbalanced parts of the masculine. So there's some letting go of that this week. And that, if we're thinking of this week as being a gateway, Lionsgate portal to this upcoming, let's say at least 8 or 9 weeks, and maybe even as much as 8 or 9 months to a year. So it's a tone setting week. And if it feels like you have to let go of control and surrender a fight, back away, work on self-mastery, and let things fall away naturally, that's the best thing to do this week. It's not a week to fight back. Let's just say it's not a week to run away afraid, but surrendering in the mind and letting the dust settle. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Okay, wow. All right. We are up in Sagittarius, which is expansion. Sagittarius is new possibilities. It is let's color outside the lines. Let's think outside the box. Let's go into, it's ruled by Jupiter. Let's go into expansion. Let's get courageous and curious. Sag is another fire sign, just like Leo. So we're in the sun sign of Leo right now. And we've got this very fantastic card, Ace of Pentacles in the house of Sag. Maybe you're looking at a home in a different part of the world. Maybe you're considering having a second home somewhere else, or just going to check another location out. This is also a gift and a reward. We don't know what's there unless we explore a little bit. Now, this is not the grass is greener on the other side. This is, let's go look at the other side and see. There's always going to be things that are good and not so good, right? We always, when we're looking at alternatives in any decision, there's always pros and cons. So I don't see us looking at options around possibly having a move, a different home, a different type of home, a second home, a different style of living with people. I don't see that, we're just going into this with rose-colored glasses this week. I think this is really about let's explore a little bit. Because if we don't at least check it out, we won't know what's there. And there does feel like there's a gift coming to us. Yeah. Sounds fabulous and in sync with the timings. Yeah. Hi, Spicy Dame. Love to travel my country in an RV travel thinking. Yeah. Mercury gone retrograde. Okay. So Mercury's gone retrograde. What does that mean? What it means is it's not the time to necessarily pick up and move. It's not the time necessarily to sign documents and make big commitments. There's a lot of like letting the dust settle, but we can explore things. We can also go back into our own, dream box and look in and say, what have I not looked at for a while? This is a great week to like pull out some of those things on your bucket list or your wish list and have a look at them again. And there's, with this King of Pentacles here, this Ace of Pentacles here, it feels important to take some tangible step this week. Start something rolling. Again, Mercury retrograde doesn't mean that we don't do anything. It means that we don't finalize or totally, sign papers around contracts and things like that. When a sign goes retrograde, it's not technically going backwards, but what it is it's dredging up the past and also gathering from the past. So it's a great time this whole month of August to be going over the things maybe that you thought about over the last 10 months. Maybe the things you thought about over the last few years, maybe digging some of your ideas out and reviewing them, because Mercury retrograde is a great time to review the past. Okay. Speaking of a great time to review the past, let's just take a moment here. We're going to look at, there we go. If you want to book a consultation with me, this is how you can access it. Go to the Beyond Mystic Consultations page and you can get the code below to book a session with me there. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. And while we're chatting about this, I want to bring your attention to this astrology of abundance that's happening with Meg. This is actually happening tomorrow, live, August 4th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Looks fantastic. This is for all 12 signs for 2024 and beyond. And there's a recording available for those that can't attend live, so that you just go over to the Beyond Mystic Academy, check out this page, and jump on to this amazing workshop that's Meg is running tomorrow. I'm excited about that. All right, let's keep going. So we've got up in the house of Capricorn another ace. Woo-wee! This is good. This is good news. Aces always make us happy. And why is that? Because aces are like renewal. You know, aces are like, when you think about playing cards, you've got an ace in the hole, right? It's sort of like that. When we see aces in a tarot reading, it's like, oh, there's an ace up your sleeve. And what it actually means is there's a gift, there's a reward, there's an opportunity to renew and have a fresh start or an up-leveled start. 2 aces in a row. We'll see if there's any more. We also have the number 1 major arcana right here. The Magician is right here. So that's 3 number 1s. 3 of a kind is a blessing. So the blessing of renewal amidst all this breakdown to breakthrough, blessings of renewal. In the house of Capricorn, this is about us really feeling like we've arrived at our the destination of our destiny, is what the guides are saying. It's like we are right on time for the curtain call for what we came here for. And even if we don't know exactly what we're supposed to do, we do know how we're supposed to feel. And a lot of us are feeling it. It's this feeling of, it's not hopefulness, it's open-heartedness. Yeah. So this is really what's going to transform our lives. It's what's going to heal our planet. And it doesn't happen all at once like a big tidal wave. Wouldn't that be nice? And yet tidal waves can be very destructive, right? So what it feels like is it's getting the tone of that happening. And I keep saying tone, so there's something about sound frequency this week too. If you have an opportunity to receive any sort of gifts around sound healing, crystal bowl healing, the Schumann resonance frequencies, there's a lot of these on the internet, on YouTube, the beautiful frequency channels. And it feels like a very good week to tune into that. So we've got studying the traditions that are most aligned with your spiritual values, reviewing some of that source material, reviewing some of those practices, be it prayers or different types of spiritual practices. This is a really great week for that. Also a great week for sound healing, so that we're setting that tone that is going to continue to emanate frequency after this Lionsgate portal. You know, you can look at the Lionsgate portal also like it is a gateway, that how we cross it through it creates momentum. So I feel like it's pretty exciting. It's a pretty exciting week. Okay, in the house of Aquarius. Aquarius is about our, it's about our communities. It's about our exploration into new ways of doing things is what I'm hearing. So what's showing up in the house of Aquarius is, interestingly, the Lovers. So exploration around new ways of having relationships. We're thinking about relationships in a new way. And that brings us back to this energy around the Emperor here, around the King of Pentacles down in the bottom. There's something changing around the balance and the equality in relationships, and also the diversity and the complementary aspects of relationships. So I just feel like we're growing up somehow. We're growing up, and there may be specific choices opening up this week around choosing, I want to say, a new way of working in your relationship, in your existing relationship, a new style of communication. And if you aren't in a relationship, there feels like there's choices coming to you this week that offer potential partnership that is on a whole new level than what you've ever had before. And it could be, obviously, it's going to be on a whole new level for the other person as well. So there is a bit of hesitancy, and there's a bit of I want to say, anxiousness that I'm getting around that. I mean, look at it. It's coming across from this Tower card. So everybody's feeling a little bit, I want to say, vulnerable. It doesn't really, all this instability politically and social, economically, and environmentally, it doesn't really make one feel like, gosh, I feel like I've got the world by the tail. I'm super confident and stable. And, we're all feeling a little bit like, whoa, right? So what does that, coming into a new type of relationship where nobody really has the upper hand, because there is no upper hand. We're all in this, and it's working together in new ways that's going to evolve us through these very interesting, let's call it, times. Okay, last house. Woohoo! Yay, yay! Last house, House of Pisces, the deep subconscious. Something is already working. So this is where we can expect to see gifts and synchronicities this week. You can expect to see how the universe is working on your behalf. So this would be I thought I was going to have to really do a lot of work to make this happen, whether it's something, and it is something tangible. So if this is something to do with your finances, with your business, it feels like something in the tangible realm that you thought was going to be a tremendous amount of work, it suddenly sort of clicks into place, and you're like, how come that was so easy? And what I'm getting is that the universe is showing you that there's been a lot of work behind the scenes. And this is helping us to see how quickly things can change. We have this idea that we have to work on controlling our outer world in order to change it. And we're getting to the point now in our evolution where it's more important to work on the inner world and wait for the universe to make the necessary changes in the outer world so that everything lines up in a much better way than you could have made happen with your rational strategy. So again, we're back to the beginning here with this spiritual support, spiritual allies, traditional spiritual practices and teachings that give us so much comfort as we go through these transformative times. And coming back to this magician in the house of Gemini, I really get there's a confidence. You may find yourself speaking this week and hearing really confident, clear messages coming out of your mouth and being a bit like, wow, I didn't even know that I knew that. Happens to me all the time. It's because I'm channeling all of your amazing guides. I'm like, wow, that thought ever even crossed my mind. It just came through. Okay. So we end off with a little bit of a challenging card. All right. We could blow this. This is where things fall into place. I want to say you're going to see a sign of this. It might take 3 weeks for it to complete after Mercury goes direct, right? But you're going to see something gelling. And if you get panicked or paranoid or frustrated and try to force things, you could destroy that. You could destroy. You still have the capacity to block this natural development, these rewards, these gifts, these things that are just going to kind of happen almost more miraculously or effortlessly in the material realm. You can still sway that in a challenged direction, and it feels really important. They're saying we got to just take a chill pill. We got to take a chill pill this week and not get too on our high horse and too trying to force things with our will, because this is being tremendously spiritually guided and held here. And we talked about that masculine energy shifting, and that's something that this Lionsgate portal is putting into motion. For each of us, the unhealthy part of that is our frustration and our impatience. And we really need to, keep tabs on this week, especially when what hits the fan. Our first response could be like, okay, I'm tired of waiting. Spirit's not intervening. I got to make stuff happen. And so what do we do with that? I'm going to pull another card on the side just to get a message about that specifically. So there's something about bringing up our greatest fears. And there's something about this is pushing us to see what we're afraid of. And instead of just reacting and trying to rush or push or force things, they're saying we need to spend, at least the next 7 to 10 days in meditation, in spiritual retreat, in asking our, higher authority, creator, divine consciousness, God, whatever is the higher power that you defer to. It feels like this week you're going to need to temper this reactionary ego self and give it over to God, because there's answers and solutions that are so close. But if you get frustrated and angry and force it, they may dissipate. So, gosh, I'm going to be working on all this, and I am so grateful that you're tuning in here with me. And I see interesting. We're at 8:07. One more person jumps on. We're at 8:08 people. That's the Lionsgate portal. So fascinating. Stay on if you're on, folks. We need one more person to have that frequency of the 808, the Lion's Gate. Invite somebody to come on. Oh, it just jumped right over to 809. Oh, which is the 17. 809 is the number 17, which is goes down to a number 8. So there we go. We're in alignment with this energy of the momentum of the tone that we set this week. I'm just going to quickly go over your comments here. So lovely to see you. Look into if we've coved into the 13th month. Suzanne, Suzanne Rudd, I'm having a hard time understanding what your question is. If we're going back to having 13 months and if we're in the missing month of Soul right now. Okay, very, very interesting. Now I get your question. Let's have a quick look at that, because what I'm actually hearing is you're referring to calendar system reorganization that basically helps us shift out of this power dominant frequency model. So let's look at that. Thank you, my smiling spirit, for suggesting that we put everything in capitals. And we'll see, where are we at with the 13-month calendar? For those of you where that might sound startling or maybe even a little bit disturbing, what we're referring to is a calendar that goes by lunar months. There's actually 13 full moons in a calendar year. So the shift away from lunar months into basically an artificial solar calendar, which was, designed for its own purposes. It's a little bit about removing us from the cycles of the natural world. So let's see where we're at with coming back into alignment. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I would say yes. I would say that's a yes. And there's going to be some pushback. Not everyone is in agreement that this is a good idea. And I think, interestingly, even the lunar 13-month calendar, I think we're actually going to start to expand into a very different calendar system that isn't solar or lunar. And they're going, what is it exactly? And I'm hearing it's elemental and stellar, meaning star and element oriented. So we may not stay in a 13 moon calendar system for very long. We may actually evolve into something a little bit more quantumly expansive, and that really addresses the energy of time not being linear or necessarily even cyclically linear is what they're saying, but that it's actually more quantum in a realm of infinite possibility and a bit more like the Fibonacci sequence or something like that. So anyway, our work with calendars and time is going to go through a lot of changes. I guess in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see not just one alternative system, but an expansion into different modalities. And you can say, oh yeah, well, how long is it going to take for everything to change in our outer world and to support this new calendar system? It really, in a way, it's almost like it doesn't matter, because it really is about what people practice in their homes and in their personal lives. And the more of us that start to work with different time management systems, different ways of working with time and acknowledging and marking time, as we explore new ways of doing that, those other systems just eventually go into obsolescence. We don't have to like force them to be outdated. They just become less relevant over time. So it feels like it's about each of us doing our own practice that we're guided to. And that feels like it isn't about limiting us or dominating or controlling us, that it's about tuning us into the expansive potential of ourselves and the universe. Okay, well, that's quite a note to leave off on. Just some final connections here. I'm going to bring this Astrology of Abundance with Meg back up on the screen. If you haven't seen it already, check this out. It is happening tomorrow on the Beyond Mystic Academy. Go over and have a look at that. And of course, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic 003. And if you would like to book a session with me, here's where you can find me on the Beyond Mystic consultation page. You can book a 1-hour reading with me. I have some space left in the month of August. You jump on soon. Would love to meet you there. And until then, have a beautiful week, everyone. Blessings to you all. See you on the other side of the Lionsgate portal. Bye for now.